They're still there. And what a beautiful day. This is definitely the warmest day so far, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Without question. So last night was definitely, it was our most expensive hotel stay, wasn't it? And it was definitely the worst. It was fine, still did the job. Right, we've come to the supermarket for a coffee and a baguette and some cheese or something like that. Listen to that music to wake up to, that's too much, isn't it? You got to resist the flan, Paul.
I know, look at that bumper there.
That, yeah.
Breakfast?
It is. No, I couldn't do that for breakfast. I couldn't do that for breakfast. Get the rustic. All right, get the non-rustic. Get the soft one.
You worried about your teeth?
No, just want you to make a choice.
Is that them, is it?
So that is like the simplest breakfast you can ever eat, I think. How much did it cost? €5.60 or something, wasn't it?
We've eaten like kings, haven't we?
I do like
Do
these.
this.
Paul's not 100%
I'm not.
into those,
It's
really.
like baby food.
They're like those little baby ones, you know the ones. Little triangles. But apparently, they're actually quite good for you. I think the protein content is really quite high.
That's always what it's about with you, isn't it?
Lots of
Bring
protein.
in protein
The
content.
fat content's pretty good as well. Fat's good. We do have a kind of a strange bathroom pod. It's more like the kind of thing that you would find in a caravan or something, or a motorhome or whatever. And here's our room. This is the most expensive room that we've had this week, and by far the worst. But we slept all right.
Yeah.
Let's go. I just thought it was nice. The sat nav brought us right here. I don't know why. And then from here off.
Not there.
Yeah.
We're only allowed to stay for 10 minutes apparently.
Oh really? Ah. We've ended up in a little place called Bologne-sur-Mer. Actually, I don't think it is that little. It's a massive, great big city kind of down the hill. We've ridden all the way up to the top, and there's some kind of castle fortification thing up here, and you could kind of see it in the distance as we were riding in. We're only about 60 kilometers or something away from Calais, so but this has a very different feel than where we were in Bologne-sur-Mer. Feels a bit classier, I have to say that. But this is quite beautiful, so we'll have a little trundle around here for maybe 20 minutes or so before we head off. We've got one more stop. I don't know if we'll stop there or if we'll get to Calais early and get an earlier crossing. I don't know. But it's nice riding weather, but it's been really stop-start, loads of traffic, and the bikes are cooking.
My left forearm and gripper. Oh my lord.
Really?
Yeah,
What, with the clutch? Yeah, no, that wasn't the best type of riding really, but there you go. Some bells ringing for some reason. There's the church thing I was looking at. That's massive. I've got to get some of these tunes in. That's a good tune. Kind of place that's run by an old hippie playing his funky music. Love it. Actually, I shouldn't be wearing a hat in here, should I? But this is the Notre Dame thing. It seems that there's a lot of Notre Dame stuff going on around France. And I don't know about you, but whenever anybody says Notre Dame, I just think of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. The thing that strikes me the most about places like this is that you find them everywhere in France, even in the little villages. It just shows how completely dominant religion was back in the day. I mean, I guess in the UK we have the same, don't we? We have big parish churches, and churches, massive, great big things that would have been so difficult to build back in the day. They're everywhere, but this is on a slightly different level. Anyway, let me get a coffee. I can never work out if people are like annoyed that I'm filming or they're okay with it. Let's go and find ourselves a coffee. You'll notice I have put the Bristol Thunderbird shirt on today because I haven't worn it at all on this tour. And it has to be worn. Every tour there has to be the Bristol Thunderbird shirt. Every time. This might be a really random thing, right? But look at the colour of their postal vehicles. I've noticed that in France, their postal vehicle, even the brand new ones, are painted in like a yellow mustard colour that looks old even though it's new. And the last time I was over, I was looking at the postal vehicles and thinking it just wouldn't work in France if they were red. Actually, you don't see loads of red stuff in France apart from that red door on the church, but the postal vans, if they rocked up and they were bright red like our postal vans, it wouldn't look right in these old villages, would it? It would look too like, it would be too shocking, too shocking. It would be too shocking for the people. The thing that I've noticed over here as well that we don't have in the UK, and that is these random little make your own pizza booth things. Basically, it's a unmanned takeaway pizza thing. It looks like a little container and you just punch in like your margarita or your whatever and it makes the pizza for you and no one's in there. It just also must be an oven in there with like different pizzas just ready to shuck in the oven. Paul said it's really popular with guys that go around doing their touring on a... Should we go up these stairs here?
Yeah.
They go around doing touring with their camper vans and caravans.
And truckers.
And truckers, because you don't, you know, you can do it 24/7. There's these pizza booths that you just stop and 6 or 8 euros, was it?
Remember?
Something like that. 8 euros for a pizza. And I just think that's a great idea, but I also think if it is in the UK, would it just be totally vandalized all the time? Everyone would just be in. Huh?
The baguette ones, they've got meat.
There's the baguette ones. We saw one yesterday, actually, didn't we? The vegetable one. I got to say that's not a very exciting view from the ramparts here. It's better that way. Middle-aged blokes out doing what middle-aged blokes really want to be doing, and that is just blasting around on your motorbike, having a bit of a chuckle. That's what it's all about. Yeah. Looking forward to doing a bit of a breakdown of this tour because it's been a little short one. We headed out on Monday, going back to days was Monday to Friday, and I think we are probably, including food and fuel, I reckon we're probably around about £300 or less, I think. What do you reckon? Ish? I would say we've been about €15 a day on fuel.
Yeah, you got the crossing, haven't you? So 130 crossing, 100 hotel, 100 fuel, that's 300 a bit.
And then yeah,
350.
Somewhere between 300 and 350 then, if we're going to be kind of like conservative with it. But we'll do a breakdown. We'll check out what we've actually used. But bearing in mind, last week we had this trip booked in for a long time with my brother-in-law, Asbjørn, and Therese, his wife from Norway, and we met them in Vienna. And I was responsible for booking the hotel, which I did a long time ago. I just booked one of the cheaper hotels in the center of Vienna, like right smack in the center, quite near like the Louis Vuitton shop and stuff like that. I should have thought. And I thought it looked quite reasonable when I booked it financially. It was like, that's not too expensive. Only to get down there and realize that this hotel was £300 a night. That, yeah, that stung a little bit because we stayed for 3 nights. When you think about that, £300 for one night, this whole tour, with fuel, with food, with accommodation, is probably around £300. So one night in a hotel in Vienna is the same price as a whole week away or 5 days away with a motorcycle riding through France.
I got a question that you can edit this out.
Go on.
And the question is, which was the best trip? With your blood brother or with your brother and sister-in-law and your wife? Answer honestly.
I'm going to answer that totally honestly. So, first of all,
oh, here goes
what is the bet? This is a political answer, but it is a political. But it's the truth. It's the truth. So I'm thankful. I'm very close to my brother here, who you've met already because we've been on the trip. He's over there. Like, there we go. I'm very close to my brother, and I'm really pleased about that. And I have also been extremely blessed with a fantastic brother-in-law from Norway, my brother-in-law Asbjørn, and we get on very, very well. I mean, bearing in mind, we have now known each other, me and my brother-in-law. We've known each other for 27 years now.
Still not as much as me, though, was it?
No, it's not as much as you. I've known you since, well, I was born, so that's like 50 years now, 49 years.
Really?
So
I knew you when you were in the womb.
Paul knew me when he spoke to me before I was even breathing oxygen.
Yeah.
Which is really cute and lovely.
That's how connected we are.
We're connected. Bottom line is...
Amniotic fluid.
Bottom line is this, that not everybody gets to enjoy good relationships with their blood siblings, which I really do. I've got a great relationship with my brother, and not everybody is blessed to have brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, all that kind of stuff that they even get on with. And I do. I've got an absolutely amazing, both my sides of the family, on Lillian's side and on, my side. I get on with all of them like a house on fire, and that is just awesome. So, no dramas, no nothing. I've also got 2 sister-in-laws as well. and they're awesome, and we get to hang out and we have a good time all the time. So I'm like, well, this couldn't really be better, could it? In terms of like relationally, couldn't be better. And I think having good relationships around you is like really good for your mental health, for all kinds of reasons and for all kinds of health things. It just makes sense. It's good for us.
That was a good answer. You
That's
should be on question
It's a
time.
bloody long answer though, wasn't it?
Question time. That sounds like a politician's answer.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming you, like.
Which trip was better? They were both amazing.
Oh, here it goes. Yeah.
They were both amazing. I have to say, the hotel we stayed in Vienna at £300 a night. That was an absolute. That was better than any of the hotels we've stayed in.
Definitely.
But every single time we went out, I saw.
Every other thing.
Well, every single time we went out, I saw a motorcycle and I was like, ooh, I'd like to ride around on that motorcycle. And I thought, next week I'm going to be riding through France with my brother.
Yeah.
I do have to go home, and next week I have to go back to work because
you got to pay for it all.
And you got to pay for all this stuff. You got to pay for this stuff somehow. The funny thing is, like, I haven't really worked that much since Dad died, and me and Paul have spoken quite a bit about family stuff because we're basically two middle-aged orphans traveling around France.
Well, that's quite heavy.
Yeah, middle-aged orphans. You can't be a middle-aged orphan really, but we are. Mum and Dad are gone. It's just me and Paul now, and we've spoken a lot about it, and it hasn't ended up on camera. It's not the kind of stuff that you kind of put out there on YouTube. Although I have to say we've spoken a couple of times. I thought, I wonder how helpful this would be for other blokes to hear this, or other people to hear it, but particularly blokes to hear this and be like, oh, I'm not alone,
Yeah.
But you gotta, I guess with.
And around life choices as well, about how do you handle if you think on reflection you've made a suboptimal choice, but
at some point in your life.
But you have still lived optimally in it.
Yeah.
How do you reconcile that? And that's a good, because not all our choices end up being the best ones.
No.
But the way we live within them can be really good.
Yeah.
And it's not binary.
Yeah.
And you can get like that. Well, I can anyway, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff, it kind of belongs in like almost like podcast world, really, for a couple of guys to talk about stuff where they can look back on their lives and be like, actually, that choice wasn't the best. I made a mistake there. This didn't turn out how I wanted it to. I'm disappointed with this. I'm upset with this. But life kind of goes on, and you have to kind of just muddle through anyway. And I would say that both of our lives, we've reflected on stuff. There's stuff from 30 years ago that we wished we'd done differently that would have made our outcome today really different. Would it have made it better? I don't know, because you can't play out all the scenarios properly. But there's a heck of a lot of disappointment in a lot of guys because they get to middle age, they get to their mid-40s into their 50s thinking, what the hell have I, what have I done, with my life? I made a bad choice 25 years ago or 30 years ago, and it's played out, and here I am today. And it's like, well, in a way, we all have, in one way or another, we've done things we're not particularly proud of, or we've made choices that we think, we could have made a better one. It wasn't necessarily a bad choice or a good choice, but it could have been better. And how does that play out, and how do you deal with disappointment, and how do you deal with looking back at your life when it hasn't gone exactly as you want it to go? Do you then throw the towel in on the rest of your life, or do you pick it up and be like, no, actually there's loads of positives that are still accessible, and loads of positives that have come out of this? And we've talked loads about that. And I suppose if we were to sit down and talk about that in depth, it would probably really appeal to a lot of guys, and you're like, well, is it the right thing to talk about that stuff? How deep do you go and how personal do you go, I suppose, without it feeling like
a therapy session.
Yeah, right. And this is a guy riding around on his motorcycle. Let's not get too deep, But life is deep. It just is. It's deep, and it's complex, and it's confusing at times, and it's disappointing at times, and it's exciting at times. It's so many different things. So I can't just do a motorcycle channel where I'm showing you what I've packed on the back of my motorcycle 50 times, my life is more than that. So I end up talking about all sorts of stuff, and I bring that up on the channel. And I know some of you guys are connected with that, and that's meant a lot to you, and I appreciate the connections I've made with guys based on that. and motorcycling has been a little bit of an access point and a point of common interest, which has been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. But yeah, who knows? Maybe the channel will have another leg to it, or arm to it, or body part to it, I don't know, that will cover a bit more of the stuff to do with more specifically to do with guys and mental health and life and all the shit that we deal with at times, you know? So, yeah. Anyway, right, we went deep. We went a deep dive, and we need to get back on our bike and go to Calais soon. So, I'll leave you with that for now. We'll touch base later on. Peace out. Gang. There's more. There's your SV650.
I'll have a chat with him.
This is it. It's your first tour.
First tour, I've loved it.
It's been awesome. We need to do it again, definitely.
So, go to Belgium next time.
Yeah, Belgium. I mean, Belgium's really nice and it's so close. You just take a left at Calais and then you're straight there. But then we could do like the Belgium, Luxembourg thing, or go just over into Germany or whatever. We'll figure
5
something
days,
out.
6 days, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Anyway, mate, I've had a flipping awesome time. And that's been a long time coming. We should have done that a long, long time ago. But we need to do it again. Do it again sooner rather than later.
Bonjour.
Cheers, Paul.
Yeah.
Ride safe.
And you.
Take care. And give us a buzz when you're home. Just drop me a text.
Yeah, we'll do.
And I'll do the same.
Likewise. And hi to your subscribers.
Yeah.